Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's National Hockey League media availability with 8 of the top prospects eligible for the 2020 NHL Draft, which will be conducted October 6th and 7th. In a few moments, we'll be joined, in order of their appearance, by Tim Stuetzle, Jack Quinn, Marco Rossi, Cole Perfetti, Quentin Byfield, Jamie Drysdale, Alexis Lafreniere, and Jake Sanderson. Each will spend about 15 minutes with us. If you'd like to ask a question of any of them, please signify that by clicking on the raise hand icon at the bottom of your screen when that player joins us. And let's begin. Joining us first, NHL Central Scouting's top-ranked international skater from Manheim, Germany of the DEL, left winger Tim Stuetzle. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
All right, okay. I apologize if I didn't get your name right. I was taught how to say it today, so hopefully we got it right.
All good.
Okay. Well, let's start. Let's start off with Mike Morreale from NHL.com. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Tim. Can you tell us what this summer's of training has been like for you, Tim? Has it been difficult to manage and stay in shape?
Yeah, I think it's going pretty good in Manheim. So we are able to train with the team on the ice for 1 month already now. We had a lot of summer practice off the ice, so that was very good too. I think it's getting better and better in Germany, and hopefully the season is going to start as soon as possible.
Thanks, Michael. Next question comes from Maximilian Haupt of DPA. Go ahead, Max.
Hey, Tim, this is Max. If you don't mind, I would like to ask you in German. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Alles klar. Mich würde zum einen interessieren, was sind deine Hoffnungen für den Draft? Und zum anderen, der Leon Draisaitl ist jetzt MVP geworden. Inwiefern ist der Weg, den er gegangen ist, auch ein Vorbild für dich und was kannst du davon lernen?
Ja, also auf jeden Fall, mein Ziel ist auf jeden Fall so hoch wie möglich auch gedraftet zu werden und hoffentlich auch in den Top 3 gezogen zu werden. Und ja, zu Leon, ich glaube, da braucht man gar nicht viel sagen. Ich meine, er hat eine überragende Saison gespielt. Ich gönne es ihm vom ganzen Herzen. Und ich denke, er hat auch ganz Eishockey Deutschland stolz gemacht. Und ich finde, sowas muss man einfach sehr groß respektieren. Und sowas hat noch kein Deutscher geschafft im deutschen Eishockey.
Aber was kannst du davon lernen?
Ich denke, jeder junge Spieler kann viel von ihm lernen. Also er ist, denke ich, ein Vorbild für viele junge Spieler. Und sehr viele Jungs schauen auch zu ihm auf und er hat auf jeden Fall den richtigen Weg vorgezeigt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Max. Next question comes from Guillaume Lepage of NHL.com. Go ahead, Guillaume.
Hi, Tim. You've been well surrounded last year in Manheim, especially by some guys who have played in the NHL. How much have they helped you to be better prepared for what's ahead for you?
Yeah, I think everybody helped me a little bit. So I was honored to play with Ben Smith and Tommy Huttela, 2 veterans. Unbelievable players in the DL too. Benny played in the NHL long term too and in the AHL too. So Desjardins won a Stanley Cup. So it's been a lot of fun with those guys, learning from them. And I think I could learn every day from them new things. So that was very good for me. And I felt amazing and I had a great experience in Manheim for sure.
Thanks, Guillaume. Next question comes from Oliver Jensen of NHL.com's German site. Go ahead, Oliver. You need to unmute. Oliver. There you go.
Okay, jetzt hörst du mich, oder?
Ja.
Okay, ich mache auch mal auf Deutsch 2 Fragen. Einmal, denkst du, es kann helfen, dass jetzt die ganze Welt gesehen hat, wie großartig deutsche Jungs Eishockey spielen können mit Leon? Also für den Draft, dass es vielleicht dir auch helfen kann. Und zweite Frage, was denkst du, was können Leute wie Leon und jetzt auch du, der jetzt in die NHL drängt, tun, um Eishockey und gerade die NHL in Deutschland noch populärer zu machen, vielleicht ähnlich wie die NBA oder NFL seit vielen Jahren schon ist? Was denkst du, was könnt ihr machen, um das noch mehr in den Fokus zu rücken?
Ja, also ich denke, heutzutage ist auf jeden Fall sehr viel mit Media zu tun, mit den ganzen Medien. Ich denke, das deutsche Eishockey ist auf einem sehr guten Weg, auch mit vielen jungen Spielern jetzt auch in der DEL, die gezeigt haben, dass sie sehr gutes Eishockey spielen, denke ich. Und ja, ich denke, man hat auch jetzt in den sozialen Medien die Tage gesehen, dass sehr viel auch über den Leon geschrieben wird. Ich denke, dass es auf jeden Fall der richtige Weg ist. Und vor allem auch die Nationalmannschaft und so, die das alles sehr supporten. Und wie schon gesagt, viel über die Medien, denke ich, das wird der entscheidende Punkt sein. Und hoffentlich so schnell wie möglich auch eine neue Saison. Ich denke, das wird jetzt auch ein entscheidender Faktor werden.
Thanks, Oliver. Next question comes from Ryan Kennedy of the Hockey News. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Tim. Just wondering, how important was your World Junior experience last year? And if there is a World Juniors this year, how do you feel about maybe being in a bubble like the NHL is?
Yeah, for sure. I think that was not my best tournament, the World Juniors. But I would say as a German group of guys, I think we performed pretty well, hold up to some big nations as well. And it was a great feeling to play for Team Germany. And I think we had a very young team. So hopefully the next World Juniors we can keep up even more. And yeah, like I think that's the situation right now. So everybody doesn't really knows what's going on. And but I think the most important thing is that everybody's stayed healthy, and if it's that possible, if we play in a bubble, then yeah, I think it's the right way for sure.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question comes from Mark Shai of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, John. Hey, Tim. Just the rise in German hockey, especially as of late, seeing you going high in the draft, seeing your fellow countrymen and Peterka and Reichel possibly going in the first round, and seeing Leon Drysdale win the Hart Trophy. Just can you pinpoint something with the rise of the German program and why you guys are really starting to take notice in the world?
Yeah, I think the new under 23 rule in Germany, with having, I think you need to have at least three guys playing in the pro team and train with them. So I think that's a big part of it. So young players can play in the big leagues and get to know everything and get to know the veterans, learn from those guys every time, and play and train against men every day. I think that helps a lot too. And yeah, I think Leon really showed everything off. So he was an unbelievable role model last season, and yeah, the years before as well. So I think Germany's definitely on the right way, also with the national team getting young guys and yeah, building like a kind of group with under 24, under 25 guys and train with them and getting like yeah, a little bit closer to the pro level, and I think that's very important too.
Thanks, Mark. Next question comes from Robin Potswald of NHL.com, Germany. Go ahead, Robin.
Getaucht jetzt auch in diesem Zusammenhang. Belastet dich das eigentlich, dass da so Erwartungen auch an dich selber gerichtet werden? Oder siehst du das eher als zusätzliche Motivation? Und wie willst du vielleicht deine eigene Karriere, ich sag mal, in Schwung bringen im Unterschied zu Leon? Wo siehst du Unterschiede oder vielleicht auch gewisse Parallelen? Dankeschön.
Könnten Sie die Frage nochmal kurz wiederholen, bitte? Ich glaube, am Anfang war es ein bisschen stumm.
Okay, ich hoffe, es klappt jetzt besser. Es ging eigentlich nur um den Vergleich mit Leon Drysdale. Wir haben ja jetzt schon mehrfach gehört, dass da gewisse Parallelen gezogen werden. Ist das eher eine Belastung oder eine Motivation? Und wo siehst du vielleicht Unterschiede in der Entwicklung? Wie willst du deinen eigenen Stempel in der Entwicklung aufdrücken? Dankeschön.
Ja, also erstmal ist es eine sehr große Ehre für mich natürlich. Ich meine, mit so einem großartigen Spieler verglichen zu werden, das ist natürlich nicht selbstverständlich, aber ich denke, dass ich nochmal ein anderer Spielertyp bin, auch eine andere Person bin. Aber ja, auf jeden Fall, ich sehe das alles auf jeden Fall als große Ehre natürlich und natürlich auch nochmal als Motivation. Ich meine, wenn man so mit so einem großen Spieler verglichen wird, dann will man natürlich auch dann irgendwann da hinkommen auf das Level. Und ich meine, Leon hat einen super Job gemacht letzte Saison und auch die Jahre davor sehr, sehr gutes Eishockey gezeigt. Und ja, wie schon gesagt, dass, denke ich, sehr viele junge Spieler auch zu ihm aufschauen und ich nicht der Einzige bin, denke ich.
Thanks, Robin. Next question comes from Simon Olivier Larange from La Presse. Go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
All right. Sorry for this. So, hi, Tim. I was wondering, you're already playing at a professional level in Germany, and now you have the chance to play pro here in North America. What does it mean for a young guy like you to be a pro? What does it mean on an everyday basis for you?
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from the veterans, from those guys playing there for a couple of years already. So with me, I had a busy day, not like the others. They went home after practice. I went to school. So yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, crazy what was going on. And I had a lot of fun, great experience. Yeah, practicing in the morning every time. It's not normal as a young kid as me. Normally they go to school in the morning. I had practice and went to school after. So yeah, but like everything around, like driving to a game one day before, like everything was definitely 100% more professional. And yeah, every player, like what they eat, what they have for nutrition, what they do before games. I think you can learn so many things from those guys. And yeah, for me, an unreal experience, 100%.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Next question comes from Carter Baum of Blackhawks.com. Go ahead, Carter.
Tim, I'm curious, Central Scouting has a player comparable of Patrick Kane. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think of that comparison and if he's someone you look up to or try to model your game after.
Yeah, my team has always said that to me. So yeah, like Leon, I think it's a big honor for me to be compared to those guys. I think I'm still far away from them. So there's a lot of work coming on. But yeah, definitely a big honor for me.
Thanks, Carter. Next question comes from Mark Brassard of Ladois. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, hi, Tim. Just curious, it seems like given that you're going to be 2 and 3, you and Quentin Byfield, have you thought a lot about the pros and cons of being in Los Angeles compared to Ottawa?
I mean, I can't handle the draft, so I don't know what's going on. It's just on the team. I just try to play my game every time and work hard off the ice and on the ice. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. And at the end, we'll see what's going to happen.
Thanks, Mark. Next question comes from Nick Kotzanika of NHL.com. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Tim, I know this draft experience is different than maybe you expected, but I'm curious, where exactly will you watch the draft? Who will you be with? And how excited are you now that it's finally almost here?
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody's excited. Every player's excited. And yeah, I'm going to watch the draft with my teammates and my family. I think my teammates were a big part of me last season, and they helped me a lot. So I think they need to be in there too. And yeah, it's going to be at the clubhouse, maybe. I think so. From our aunt, from my teammate. So she has a clubhouse, and we're probably going to do it there with my teammates and family.
Thanks, Nick. We have time for a few more. Next question is from Bruce Garriock of the Ottawa Sun. Go ahead, Bruce.
Hi, Tim. Thanks, John. Tim, I'm just wondering, when you look this season, when do you expect the season in Germany to start? And what are your plans vis-a-vis as far as the NHL goes? Will you be able to attend a training camp whenever it's held?
Yeah, nobody knows right now what's going on in Germany when the season's going to start. So I think they want to play it on the 13th of November, but it's not set in stone yet. So that's not official. But yeah, my goal is to play in the NHL next season. And for sure, I want to go to the camp and try to make the team. So that's 100% my goal. And yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. But my goal is to play there next season for sure.
Thanks, Bruce. Next question comes from Stefan Herge of NHL.com Germany. Go ahead, Stefan.
Hallo Tim, mich würde interessieren, hat sich Marco Sturm eigentlich schon bei dir gemeldet, weil ja die LA Kings ein mögliches Ziel für dich sind?
Nee, also nicht so wirklich. Mein Agent ist, glaube ich, mit dem ein bisschen in Kontakt. Also die kennen sich halt, aber sonst eigentlich nicht wirklich viel. Ich denke, das läuft auch alles eher über die Manager. Ich hatte Meetings mit denen und ja, viel dazu kann ich eigentlich nicht sagen, weil ich selber nicht viel mehr weiß, sozusagen.
Okay, we'll take one more from Lisa Dillman of The Athletic. Go ahead, Lisa. Lisa, you have to unmute.
Yeah,
Sorry
about that. My bad. Sorry. Where are you right now? I'm sorry if I missed this. Are you at home or are you at the training facilities? And could you tell me how you felt your interviews with LA went?
Yeah, I'm at my parents' house right now, so we have 1 week off from training in Manheim, and then I'm going to the national team. So yeah, I'm at my parents' house right now for 1 week, and yeah, I think the interviews were good. I like having interviews. It's a lot of fun for me always. I think you just need to be yourself and be honest. So that's the most important. So it went good, I'd say.
Well, Tim, thanks for taking the time a little late at night back where you are, and congratulations on what you've done so far, and good luck in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We'll be joined in a moment by Jack Quinn. Okay, joining us now from Ottawa, the OHL, right winger Jack Quinn. Jack, thanks for joining us.
No problem, guys.
All right. Let's get right to the questions. We'll start with Mark Faulkner of the Detroit News. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, Jack, we were talking with your coach, Andre Tourné, the other day, and one of the things we talked about was your teammate, Marco Rossi. Could you talk about being on the power play with Marco and his two-way game?
Yeah, Marco's obviously a great player. I think everyone knows that. So when I got the chance to be out there with him, it was definitely a benefit, and I tried to make the most of it. He's a great passer, so, we try to get open, and he definitely set me up for a lot of goals. And it was just, I think, also great to have him kind of on the team to push me and stuff. And, he was a great guy to try to battle with and stuff. And I think we pushed each other.
Thanks, Mark. Next question comes from Ryan Kennedy of the Hockey News. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thanks. Hey, Jack. Just wondering, you went from 12 goals to 52 goals year over year. What do you think was the biggest driver for that explosion in productivity from you?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of factors that kind of went into it. I think it started with a great summer in the gym, and that led to me, feeling in good shape and being a lot more confident in myself. I think my skating improved a bit, and a little more ice time, a little more confidence, and kind of the puck started going in. And another thing was Andre in Ottawa was hard on me to try to get to the inside and be harder to play against and go to the net, kind of things like that. So I worked on that, and I think that was a big difference for me. And I think shooting the puck a little more helped too.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question comes from Mike Moriali of NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jack. I believe you grew up about an hour away from Canadian Tire Center. Were you a big Sens fan? If so, who did you enjoy watching on the team and why?
Yeah, I was a Sens fan growing up. They're obviously right there, so went to some games and watched the rest on TV, I guess. And I liked a few guys. I liked like Alfie and Fisher would be two, I guess.
Thanks, Michael. Let's go back to Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Jack. Just curious, playing on that loaded 67s team, really the past 2 years, how did that help you having so many guys and particularly some of the veterans develop your game?
Yeah, I think being around those guys, it was great to learn from, for one, kind of learn what they do and stuff. And also just kind of the competition I think we had each and every day in practice and stuff with that good of a team and that many good players helped a lot in my development too.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question comes from Nick Kotzanika of NHL.com. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Jack, how are you handling just sort of the unusual year, the situation with the draft, and where will you, specifically watch the draft and who with?
Yeah, I think kind of same as everyone else, trying to stay safe, I guess, and use it as a good opportunity to kind of, with the longer off season, the opportunity to, get a lot stronger and work on my game more. So just kind of been that routine for a while now, with workouts and skating. And for the draft, I think I'll be at my mom's house in Cobden, with some family and a few friends maybe.
Thanks, Nick. Next question comes from Justin Bradford of Penalty Box Radio. Go ahead, Justin.
Hey, Jack. So one player never models their game after one complete player, but would you say there's one or two NHLers growing up that you try to model your game after?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think growing up at all. I think, but when someone asked me this year who I thought I played like, a couple guys that came to mind would be Pasternak. I like his game, and TJ Oshie as well.
Thanks, Justin. Next question comes from John Mattis of The Score. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jack. I wanted to ask you a bit about Quentin Byfield, who obviously you've lined up against in the OHL. What's it like to face Quinton as an opponent, and how would you describe him as a player?
Yeah, I think when we play Sudbury, he's obviously the focus point for their team. So, just trying to limit him offensively and play hard on him. I don't think it was my exact job to, be hard on him. We had some guys like Baller and stuff to shut him down. But, he's a great player, so you got to be aware when he's on the ice. And I think for his game, he's just really skilled, 200-foot centerman, and I think he's a really good playmaker. He showed some great passes against us, I remember.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from Sylvain Saint-Laurent of Le Droit.
Hi, Jack. Earlier on during this call, you said that Marco Rossi and you pushed each other for a couple of years to get better. During the spring, he posted a few workout videos that were quite impressive. I was wondering if, A, you saw them, and B, if that's not another way to keep pushing each other when you see that he's working that much harder in Austria.
Yeah, that's a good point. I saw the videos. Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. I'm not doing that exact stuff for workouts, but I definitely think I'm working hard. So probably a little bit different workout styles, but it was definitely impressive. And yeah.
Thanks, Sylvain. Next question comes from John Waro of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, good afternoon, Jack. Good seeing you. Just wondering, what do you think? I mean, all you prospects are going through this together with this long wait. What could you imagine as being the biggest challenge that you and your fellow guys have had to go through in having to wait this long and not having hockey for so long?
Yeah, I think maybe just with this much time off from games would be kind of the intensity on the ice. When you're not playing games, you'll never have that high level of competitiveness, but I think you just got to do the best you can in practices to simulate that kind of thing with, whatever it is, battle drills or high pace drills and that kind of thing. And, just try to kind of represent the same stuff, I guess.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from Mark Shag of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, John. Hi, Jack. Do you remember how many teams you spoke to along the way? And did anybody throw a really weird combine-like question at you?
I think like somewhere in the low 20s probably, and nothing really too weird. No, pretty standard.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Let's go back to Mike Morreale from NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, John. Hey, Jack, how are you selling yourself to those NHL teams that did interview you? What do you tell them? Tell those teams that might look to draft you?
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell myself in a crazy way. I think they watch me play all year and they know what kind of player I am. And for the interviews, it's more just kind of, being honest and being myself and showing them what kind of person I am.
Thanks, Michael. Let's go back to Sylvain Saint-Laurent. Go ahead, Sylvain.
Yes, Jack, just to follow up on my earlier question, a lot of your success was predicated on driving to the net. And like you said, Andre pushed you that way. Can you give us a few examples of how you try to replicate those kind of situations during those long months?
Yeah. I think in practice, just making sure my intensity was high, even in summer skates, if it's skills drills and stuff, making sure my habits are good I guess, not falling into summer habits. The little details, making sure I kind of think about them and keep them sharp, I guess.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvain. And our last question is from Mark Ciampa of Devils.com. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Jack. Just a couple of Devils-related questions. One, how did your interviews go with the Devils? And have you talked to any of your multiple teammates who are Devils prospects about the possibility of playing in New Jersey?
Yeah, I've talked with them a couple times, and I think it went well both times. They were good interviews, in my opinion, and I train with Graham Clark, and I see him every day. He's one of my best buddies, so I talked to him about it quite a bit, I guess. Just it'd be cool to go to the same organization, and I haven't talked to Baller and Nicky in a bit, but probably last talked about it with them a couple months ago, I guess.
Thanks, Mark. Jack, thanks for taking the time. Good luck in a couple of weeks. Hopefully you can enjoy the 2 weeks between now and then. And again, thanks for taking the time.
No problem, guys.
Okay, Jack. We'll be joined by Jack's teammate, Marco Rossi, in a moment.
Hello.
Okay, joining us now, Jack Quinn's teammate, center from Ottawa of the OHL, Marco Rossi. Marco, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. What time is it where you are?
It's 10:30 right now, p.m.
Okay, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Let's get right to the questions, and we'll start with John Warrow of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Marco. John Warrow with the AP. Coming from Austria, and I see that your dad played professionally there for 20 years. But when you really thought about what chances you had or dreamt about playing in the NHL, how much did guys like Thomas Vanek and Grabner and those guys maybe open your eyes and open your ideas to that possibility?
Yeah, they did a lot, like for the Austrian Hockey Federation and for everything in Austria, like for hockey, because then you really like start to dream like about playing in the NHL one day. Because if you see like Thomas Vanek and Michael Grabner and even Mike Ruff playing in the NHL, it's a childhood dream for every kid then, like in Austria. So it was my motivation too, because I saw them playing in the NHL. So it was my goal too then.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Hi, Marco. Could you tell me how did your interview with Steve Yzerman go, and did he ask you any kind of question that maybe seemed off the wall?
It was really good with Detroit. Not really any fun questions or anything like that. It was very good. So yeah.
How many times did you talk with them?
I talked to them twice, or 3 times.
Thank you.
Thanks, Helene. Next question comes from Janek Matajowski of ORF Austria. Go ahead, Janek. Janek, can you hear us? All right, let's move on to Robin Potswald of NHL.com/DE. Go ahead, Robin.
Ja, hallo Marco. Ich versuche es mal auf Deutsch. Wir haben ja den Namen Thomas Vanek jetzt hier schon ein paar Mal auch durch den Saal geistern hören. Was bedeutet er dir persönlich beziehungsweise seine Karriere? Und was willst du persönlich vielleicht an ihm nachmachen oder nacheifern? Oder wo siehst du auch Unterschiede zwischen euch? Danke.
Also ja, also auf jeden Fall. Also der Thomas Vanek hat extrem viel geholfen für das ganze Eishockey und ganz Österreich. Das ist eigentlich so immer schon der Traum, wenn man sieht, den Thomas Vanek, wie der in der NHL gespielt hat. Ist es sicher ein sehr großen Traum dann für jeden Eishockeyspieler in Österreich, einmal in der NHL zu spielen. Und der hat das wirklich dann ermöglicht, dass er dann wirklich so lange in der NHL gespielt hat. Und ich würde sagen, dann sind einfach die Träume noch näher und du glaubst wirklich, okay, du kannst es dann auch schaffen. Und also ich sage, wir sind einfach unterschiedliche Spieler. Ja, ist jetzt schwierig, uns zu vergleichen.
Thank you, Robin. Next question comes from Neil McHale of InsideHockey.com. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Marco. So you mentioned you were doing this at 10:30 p.m. your time. Have you thought about what draft day is going to be like in that first day of the draft when likely you'll hear your name called? You're going to have everyone staying up all night? Because I have to imagine it's going to be pretty hard to fall asleep after hearing your name.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be a lot of adrenaline. And I think the draft is going to be like 1 a.m. here or 2 a.m. So yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the time with my family, some friends, and just enjoying that time.
Thanks, Neil. Next question comes from Russ Cohen of Sportsology. Go ahead, Russ.
Hi, Marco. Who taught you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It popped up for a sec. You're pretty tenacious in the offensive zone. I'm wondering who taught you to be that way.
I think it was like when I was really young. My dad, like when I started to play hockey, my dad always told me like, try always have your head up, try to be a good playmaker, try to give good passes. And that was always the difference, like I would say to other parents, because when you're really young, the other parents are always saying, try to score, and then we go like to a restaurant or something like that. So they try to score every time. And my dad just told me like, always have your head up, think like a lot, and just like try to help your teammates and be a good teammate. And I always tried that. So I think that's why I'm that good in the offensive zone.
Thanks, Russ. Next question comes from Stefan Herget of NHL.com/DE. Go ahead, Stefan.
Ja, hallo Marco. Mich würde interessieren, wo trainierst du gerade und wie sehen deine weiteren Pläne aus für diese Saison?
Also ich trainiere eigentlich immer mit Zürich jetzt momentan mit bis zum Draft. Und also dann noch mit meinem Personal Coach, mit dem Max Cavale, trainieren wir eigentlich immer noch jeden Tag zusammen. Und ja, wie gesagt, mit Zürich trainiere ich jetzt mal bis zum Draft, bis zum 6. Oktober und dann danach schauen wir, wie es weitergeht dann.
Ja, und wie lebt es sich eigentlich damit, die neue Hoffnung Österreichs in der NHL zu sein?
Ja, also es freut mich auf jeden Fall sehr. Aber wenn man gedraftet wird, dann ist erstmal das eine. Also zum in der NHL zu spielen, ist wieder nochmal ein sehr langer und harter Weg. Und ich weiß, es ist sehr lange und ein sehr harter Weg, aber das ist mein Ziel heuer.
Thanks, Stefan. Let's go back to Mike Moriali from NHL.com. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Marco. Happy belated birthday, by the way. Marco, who's your favorite player in the NHL right now and why?
It was Perry Dertzik, but right now it's Braden Point. He's just like playing so smart. He's like the same size than me, and just like the way he's playing right now in the playoffs is so crazy. Like I really love to see like how he's playing. He's not afraid with his size, and he's a really good playmaker, good shooter, and just makes the team better.
Thank you, Mike. Let's go back to Sylvain Saint-Laurent from Le Droit. Go ahead, Sylvain.
Hey, Marco. Jack Quinn was just with us a couple of minutes ago. I think you saw him. He said a lot of nice things about you and said that you made him better by pushing him in practice. I was wondering if you could say something similar or if he had the same kind of impact on you.
Yeah, me and Jack Quinn, we had a really good relationship because we had like the same situation right now, like with the draft year. So we talked a lot together and we always pushed each other on the ice, off the ice. And Jack, he's a really good teammate. He's a really good guy, and he improved so much from his first year to his second year. He's such a good skater, good shooter, and he works so hard, like in practice, off the ice, with workout. And he's a really good team guy. And yeah, it's just like so good to play with him.
Thank you, Sylvain. Have time for a few more. Let's go back to Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Hey, Marco. I'm just wondering, what was the biggest priority for you this offseason that you wanted to work on? And then do you feel like that you accomplished that?
Yeah, so my main goal was to getting faster, more speed, more explosiveness, and just getting quicker. And I started to do that right away when I came back from Canada. It was like in mid-March. And me and my personal coach started to work out that right away because that's my goal, to be much quicker. And we did a really good job. And we've been working out now since 6-7 months now. So it's going really good. And we can see like big improvements off the ice, on the ice. And I've never felt that good on the ice. And especially my body, like I got so much better with my body. It used to be like it was really good before, but now it's even much better.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go back to Helene St. James from the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Yeah, hi, Marco. I noticed in one of the questions you answered in German, you brought up Thomas Vanek's name a lot. Do you have a familiarity with him, or what's the knowledge there?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, before I went to Canada, he called me and just said, like, wish you good luck with the season. If you need anything, just call me. And yeah, so we always stayed in touch, and sometimes we called each other like through the year or during the season. So yeah, it's really nice to me and just talking.
Thanks, Helene. Next question comes from Andrew Podnex of IIHF.com. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hi, Marco. I was wondering, a lot of scouts and people are saying that you were one of the few guys from this year's draft who could jump into the NHL next season right away. What is it about your game that you think would make you ready to play right away?
I think it's my complete game, playing like 200-foot game, and yeah, just like my competitiveness level on the ice, my playmaking ability, my smartness with my hockey IQ, and yeah, like I said, just my overall game.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's go to Jamie Pascal. Go ahead, Jamie.
Marco, congratulations on making it this far, being on the cusp of the NHL. Who defined you into the player you are today?
It was my dad since day one. He was like the biggest reason why I started playing hockey, because my dad played hockey over 25 years in Europe, in Austria, and I was watching him playing hockey. And then I went on the ice for the first time, and we just like keep practicing on the ice all the time. And then when I was like 6-7 years old, I was really good at my age in Austria. But my dad always wanted to show me there were like other good hockey players. So we flew to Sweden, Finland, went to different tournaments in all over Europe. And he always wanted to show me there were like other good hockey players. So he did a lot for me. And then even with 13, it was like the biggest, they sacrificed so much for me, like my whole family, especially my dad, because I got up like in the morning at 6. My dad got up at 5. I had to go to school. My dad had to go to work. Then he picked me up at school like at 4 p.m. We drove to Zurich, like it was like 1 hour, 30 minutes away. Then we came home after practice like at 12 midnight, and I was maybe hungry. So he had to cook for me something. And yeah, and then the next day again. And we did that for 4 years. And my dad lost 2 jobs in that time too. And it was really tough for my whole family, and especially for my dad. And yeah, so I would say my dad, everything he did for me, with him, I wouldn't be here, and especially without my family, I wouldn't be here.
Thanks, Jamie. Great answer. Let's go to Amanda Stein from Devils.com. Go ahead, Amanda.
Hey, Marco. I've heard that you had a conversation with Nico Hischier prior to coming over to Canada. I just want to know what your relationship is like with him, and what are the things that he maybe told you about playing for Andre Tourigny and also playing in the CHL that convinced you that this was the right place for you to be?
Yeah, so I played against Nico when I was like 12 or 13. And yeah, I just got his number when I was like really young, like at 12, 13. And then when I got drafted by Ottawa, and I knew Andre was coach, and he was coach before Halifax, and he had Nico before. So I just texted Nico about the coach and stuff like that. And he just responded really good about the coach, and said you just can learn about him, and he's such a good coach. And yeah.
Thanks, Amanda. And we'll try one more. Let's try again with Janek Matajowski of RF Austria. Go ahead, Janek.
Ja, now it works. I'm sorry about
all good.
Marco, auf Deutsch. Wenige Tage vor dem Draft, wie fühlst du jetzt? Und vor und mit wem wirst du das Draft sehen?
Also, wie ich mich jetzt gerade fühle, eigentlich sehr gut. Probiere einfach weiter trainieren, nicht zu viel auf den Draft jetzt noch konzentrieren, weil es bringt eh nichts, weil ich kann ihn jetzt so oder so nicht kontrollieren. Bleibe einfach locker, genieße die Zeit jetzt momentan bis zum Draft, und dann beim Drafttag genieße ich dann einfach die Familie, die Zeit mit der Familie, mit den engen Freunden, und ja, genieße den Tag einfach.
Kann ich noch eine Frage fragen?
Ja, auf jeden Fall.
Ja, wie war es in den letzten Monaten für dich ohne Hockey?
Also Hockey habe ich schon immer gehabt, also war eigentlich immer auf dem Eis mit Zürich oder sonst noch wo. Darum war es okay, aber auf jeden Fall habe ja keine Spiele gespielt, darum vermisse ich das schon auf jeden Fall, aber war eigentlich immer auf dem Eis am Trainieren.
Thank you, Janek. Marco, thanks so much for taking the time and for staying up late for us, although it's probably not late for you. Enjoy the next couple of weeks, and we will see you at the draft.
Thank you much. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be joined momentarily by Cole Perfetti. Well, please join me in welcoming Saginaw of the OHL Center, Cole Perfetti. Cole, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, happy to have you. Let's get right to the questions, and we'll start with Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Hi, Cole. Just curious, how did you feel your interview with Steve Yzerman went, and can you share an example of something he asked you?
Yeah, I've met a couple times with the Detroit Red Wings over the break here, and with Mr. Yzerman, it's been limited. He's been on the calls, but for the most part, he's had his camera off and has been very quiet, just kind of listening and been there and taking notes. He didn't really ask anything too much. It was mainly Chris Draper who was running the calls, and he was leading it and asking most of the questions. And Yzerman was not. He wasn't saying too much. He was kind of just sitting back with his screen off and I think taking notes and listening to what I had to say.
Thanks, Helene. Next question comes from John Mattis of The Score. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Cole. I've heard you described as a hockey savant, like a real hockey nerd. Would you agree with this assessment? And if so, what is behind the obsession, and which NHLers do you like watching most?
Yeah, I would agree with that strongly. Ever since I was young, I was always the kind of kid that would go on YouTube on my dad's computer and look up hockey highlights, best goals, shootout goals, whatever the case may be, stuff like that. Just, I loved watching hockey, and if I couldn't watch it, live games on television, then I'd resort to YouTube and start using it there and start watching a lot of hockey there. And it's something that I think I just have a big passion for. It's hockey's pretty much my entire life. Everything revolves around hockey, and that's my mindset. I just want to be the one that's getting better, and I have a passion for it, and I enjoy just spending time watching hockey and breaking down what the elite players are doing and what makes them so successful on the ice. And there's so many resources you can use through YouTube and on the television and stuff like that it makes it easy to watch a lot of hockey. You just have to have a passion for it, and I think I've had that ever since I was young. And the last couple months here with these playoffs, watching games 3, 4, 5, 6 games a day every day has been a dream of mine, and it's been hockey heaven for me for sure. And I've had a great time doing that. But yeah, I would definitely say that I'm a hockey nerd.
Thanks, John. Next question comes from Dan Rosen of NHL.com. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Cole. So you don't get the chance to really do the combine. You don't get to go the Stanley Cup final. You don't get to be in person at the draft. It's so different. But, so how are you dealing with all this? What are you doing right now to make the best of everything? And where will you be on draft day?
Yeah, so it's definitely not as planned. Growing up, watching the combine, watching the draft, and everything in between, I kind of had a picture in my mind of what it would be like. And obviously, it's been uncertain times, and it's been such a fluid summer, and things have been changing. And I've just kind of learned how to go with the flow and deal with adversity. And it's tough to deal with having your when you kind of dream of having things the way it's going to be normally, going to miss going up on the stage and getting that full draft experience. But the way I look at it is I'm going to be able to spend my draft day with all my family and friends, the ones that have been supporting me and with me through it all. And it's going to be unique. And even though it's not the traditional way and the way I dreamed of it, it's going to be great to be able to spend the day with my family and all my close friends that were there for me all through all these years and supported me. So it's going to be a fun night. I'm really, really grateful for that. We were planning on doing it at this brewery in Whitby, kind of like a restaurant area. We're renting out a floor and just bringing my close family and friends. And we're just going to celebrate the night there and have a good time. And, I'll just get together and celebrate.
Thanks, Dan. Next question comes from Justin Bradford of Penalty Box Radio. Go ahead, Justin.
Hi, Cole. So we see that you're obviously a leader in the community, being involved with Vets Friends and just doing so many different things for the first responders and healthcare workers. Why is it important to you to be a big part of the member of the community that you're playing in?
Yeah, well, it's big for me because I want to give back. I think, without the fans, without the community behind us and supporting us, we wouldn't be able to be a team in Saginaw, and we wouldn't be able to survive. And they're really the backbone of our organization, and without them, what we do wouldn't be possible. So it's the least I could do to, give back in the areas that I can. And I think through Vets Friends, through the pediatric center at Covenant Kids, and through the first responders, through COVID and all that kind of stuff, it's I just feel that it's the least that I can do to help give back. They support us and provide us a chance to play in Saginaw and cheer us on every night. So it's important to me, and I find it a very big deal that we give back and we recognize them and help them in ways that they need it, and because they help us in major ways too. So
thanks, Justin. Next question comes from John Warrow of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Cole. John Warrow with the AP. That was a great answer to the previous question. But as a hockey nerd, though, and having watched guys, having watched guys on YouTube and film, at 5'10", I mean, a decade ago, a 5'10" guy maybe not be ranked this high in the draft. How much do you appreciate how the game has changed to allow you to be recognized as a top first-round draft pick?
Yeah, I think you see the way the game's going now. You got to be, a quicker player who can think the game at a very high level. And, that suits me very well. I think that's what, makes me the player that I am, is the ability to, think on the ice at a high level and process the game very quickly. It's good to see that hockey is going that way. The skills is at its highest, and, the fans are attractions at its highest. And, that's due to the high pace, the quality of play. And, I think it suits my game. And, it's really good for me that the game's going this way. And, I'm looking forward to making the jump and, starting to make an impact at the next level.
Thanks, John. Next question comes from Mike Moriali of NHL.com. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Cole. Do you wear number 91 in honor of John Tavares? Is he your favorite player, and what do you like about his game?
Yeah, so I started wearing 91 when he played for the Oshawa Generals. We started billeting around that time when he was there, and he was a superstar. He was the best player in the OHL at that time, and to see him in Oshawa, get to go to him every night and watch him play was something special. I actually didn't get to pick my number for a couple of years, and then once the first year I was allowed to pick a number, I immediately chose 91 after him. And I think I wanted to be like him and be a superstar like him one day. And he was my favorite player growing up, and it's kind of changed now. I don't really have a favorite player, but obviously what he does is pretty special, and what he did in junior, really brought me to the game and brought me to number 91 and made me fall in love with that.
Thanks, Michael. Next question comes from Ansar Khan of mlive.com. Go ahead, Ansar.
Yeah, hi, Cole. Did you play both center and wing in Saginaw? And if so, do you have a preferred position? And what do you see your future as, which position at the next level?
Yeah, so last year, my rookie year, I played mostly wing. And this year I played about 50-50 center and wing. I prefer to play center. I feel like I make more of an impact through the middle of the ice, and I'm able to impact the game in greater ways as a centerman. Being able to play both center and wing is going to be very beneficial when making the jump next year and or the year after. I think it's going to help me to get into the lineup and play key minutes and make an impact. But I prefer center, and I just think that that's where I strive more. And at the end of the day, I'm going to play wherever the team wants me to play and hopefully make an impact at any spot.
Thanks, Ansar. Next question comes from Sam Obermeyer of SiriusXM Sports. Go ahead, Sam.
Hi, Cole. Thanks for doing this today. Appreciate the time. You mentioned watching highlights, getting to watch all these playoff games back to back. When you're watching those games, what are you looking for? Is there something you're trying to learn from watching different players? So how do you watch them?
Yeah, you can learn stuff from anyone. I mean, the way some guys I look for are guys that I kind of play similar game, such as Braden Point, Mitch Marner, Claude Giroux, kind of guys like that. Where their brain is so strong and is what makes them who they are. I try to pick out things that they do in their game and implement them into mine. I definitely watch a lot of highlights on those guys on YouTube, but then being able to watch them, live in a game, you can see small things that not a lot of people recognize, but it's the little things that they do, routes they take, footwork, how they delay up the wall, stuff like that, that I try to put into my game. And I definitely watch, I key on certain guys that I feel I play a similar game to, so I can take some of the stuff that makes them so successful and put them into my game for sure.
Thanks, Sam. Next question comes from Alexis Belanger-Champagne from La Presse. Go ahead, Alexis.
Thank you. Hi, Cole. Thank you for doing this. How difficult has it been to spend so much time off ice due to pandemic and everything? And especially, like you were saying, hockey is your life. Does that make it that much more difficult? And what did you do to maybe take advantage of this situation?
Yeah, it's been tough over this COVID break. For the first couple months, there was no ice at all. And, I was starting to go a little stir crazy. It was hard to deal with that. But the last couple, 3-4 months, the ice is starting to open up here. And I've been able to get on a couple times a week and still work on my craft in that way. And although we're not playing games and stuff like that, which definitely sucks not being able to do that and get that competitive side out, but I'm still able to work on my skating, work on my skills and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still doing that. And that's been a lot of fun, getting a lot of extra reps over this break. And, earlier in the break and still now, something that I've really taken advantage of is my time in the gym, getting stronger, faster, and bigger. And I think that's really going to help me and is really important for me if I want to make the jump in the next 2 years. And I think I've really taken advantage over the summer. I've had success over the summer, and I feel a lot better with my skating, and in the gym I feel a lot stronger. So I'm happy with the way it's gone, and I'm looking forward to get back to Saginaw, to the ice, and starting to play games again.
Thanks, Alexei. We have time for a few more. Let's go to Nick Kotsanika from NHL.com. Go ahead, Nick.
So I got to ask you about Yzerman. So what's more unnerving, having him listen to you with his screen off, or maybe, normally you'd meet him in person at the combine and talk to him face to face? What's more unnerving? And then two, how many Zoom calls did you do with teams? Could you take me through that process?
Yeah, so I think I'm in the low 20s with teams. A lot of teams I've met with multiple times. I'd probably say I'm near 50 Zoom calls. in the low 20s with teams, but total around 50 Zoom calls. And with Yzerman, I didn't know what to expect going into it. They were I didn't really know. I came on the call, saw his name was on, but his screen was off, and that was I didn't know what to expect. I just kind of tried to be myself, show my personality, who I was, and hopefully he enjoyed that and got a lot out of that. I think either way, I was going to be myself and express who I am, whether he was asking the questions or just listening. And I hope I made a good impression. And it was a good process doing these Zoom calls, and it was a lot of fun. And each call was so unique, and they all had different aspects about it, which made it a lot of fun.
Thanks, Nick. Take a couple more. Mark Scheid from the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, John. Hi, Cole, again. Wanted to ask about your head coach in Saginaw, Chris Lazary, just the relationship that you had with him, and what was he able to do to really get the best out of you? Because the 2 years that you've been there, the team's been outstanding.
Yeah, he's obviously a great coach. It's no coincidence that we started to have success when he took over. And, he coaches a pro style, and he's really playing the new style of hockey and the way the game's going. He's pushing that. And I think that's really what's helped me. A lot of coaches are still stuck in their olden ways or in their olden days. And they're kind of chip pucks in and crash and bang, play hard, stuff like that. And you got to play within the structure to a T. Where with Chris, you're able to, as long as you're, within the structure, he gives you leeway to, make plays, be your own player, and have a brain, be creative, and have fun out there. I think that's, really allowed me to thrive as a player and flourish. I think, if I was under a head coach where I had to dump the puck and every time I got over the red line to get on the forecheck, it would be frustrating and I wouldn't be able to express how I really am as a player. But the way we play fast and off the rush. And as long as we're within the system, filling in for one another and making sure we're in good spots, we're allowed to be creative and make plays. And he wants us to do that. And that's why we are such a successful team, not only in the offensive zone, but, in the winning records and stuff like that. We've really dominated the last 2 years, and it's because of the way he's allowed us to play and the approach he takes on the game style.
Thanks, Mark. And final question comes from Terry Koshin of the Toronto Sun. Go ahead, Terry.
Thanks for your time today, Cole. A lot of great answers from you. I'm just curious, a lot of uncertainty in the hockey world right now, but we do know that the World Junior will go on in Edmonton in the bubble this winter. And, never mind what happened to you last year, but have you let your mind kind of go ahead to that and the possibility of playing for Canada in that type of situation?
Yeah, it's, it's obviously a goal of mine it's been a dream of mine ever since I was a little kid, but to be so close last year and to not make it, it was definitely a goal of mine to come back and a lot stronger and bigger and make an impact and make that team and be a leader on that team. That was a goal of mine. Right now, my mind is set on still summer training, getting bigger, stronger, keep going with that. And then, wait till the draft, see what happens there and continue to work hard. And then I'm just taking it one step at a time. I don't want to get too ahead of myself and start thinking about 3-4 months down the road. I just want to, take one day at a time, enjoy it, and, embrace the ride. I'm only going to get this year once. So I just want to, have fun and control the things I can control. And when the time comes, I'll be having my, my mindset on making that team and making an impact. But for now, it's my mindset on just, continuing having a strong summer and developing and, getting better for December whenever the OHL starts, and then, making that impact at the World Junior Tournament.
Thanks, Terry. Cole, thanks for taking the time. Those were some thoughtful, terrific answers. I know I enjoyed it, and I think everybody else did. Good luck in 2 weeks. Try to enjoy the ride. I know you will. Thanks again for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be joined momentarily by Quentin Byfield. Well, let's stick with the theme. Another really talented OHL centerman from Sudbury, Quentin Byfield. Quentin, thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, our pleasure. Let's get right to the questions. All right, let's start with Molly Walker from the New York Times. Go ahead, Molly. New York Post. I'm sorry, Molly. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I got traded. Hi, Quinton. Nice to meet you. You've spent some time with Alexis Lafreniere by now. How would you describe him as a teammate, and then how would you describe him as a player?
Yeah, no. We spent the World Juniors together and had a chance to play against each other in the top prospects games as well. So got to meet him quite a bit over the past couple of months. And, he's a really nice guy off the ice. And, we're definitely we talked quite a bit at World Juniors and, just about our experiences. And, he's just kind of giving me feedback on what he went through and, kind of what I went through as well. And, I think we came pretty close over those couple of experiences. And, his play speaks for itself on the ice. And he's an exceptional player and, he can do everything super good. And, I think he's just a great guy off the ice and on the ice.
Thanks, Molly. Sorry again. Next question comes from Richard Labbé of La Presse. Go ahead, Richard. I think you have to unmute. Oh, there you go. Let's move on. Let's try Ryan Kennedy of the Hockey News. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Quentin. I'm just wondering what kind of lessons you took from your World Junior experience and how did you sort of apply those in the months afterwards?
Yeah, so it was definitely a bit of a learning curve for me. And, going from playing such a high role and, a lot of minutes in the OHL and, on the teams previous. So, it was definitely a bit of a learning curve for me. And, I think going in there, didn't really have any expectations. Just kind of wanted to do whatever for the team, kind of get the win. And, that's what I did. Kind of just took a lesser role and, try to be a good teammate off the ice and, try to help out the guys as much as I could. And, whenever I got a shot, try to play my best and, prove something. And, I'm still very grateful for the experience and, coming home with the gold medal, something, you can never take away. So, just lessons like that, sacrificing, just a little bit of what you can do for the team to win. I think I definitely can take that back and use that later on in my game.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question comes from Mike Moriali of NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Quentin. So knowing you're such a big fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning, you must be enjoying the Stanley Cup final here. What has impressed you most about Tampa's run to get to the final and their effort through these 3 games against Dallas? And also, who do you feel should win the Conn Smythe if Tampa does win the series?
Yeah, I was definitely a huge fan of Tampa Bay growing up, but it's kind of weird. I'm cheering for Dallas right now. I don't know why, but I think they have a great story too with Hudobin and then I think that's exciting to watch as well. But Tampa's playing really good, and I think what they did with their getting some depth players and throughout their lineup, they have all the skill in the world, and they're such a great team. But I think they knew they just needed a couple pieces, and those guys are really connecting. The Gaudreaus, Coleman, Gordon. I think that's an exceptional line, a good checking line to have, and I think that's really helping them along. And my vote probably for Conn Smythe right now for them would probably be Brayden Point. I think he's playing exceptional, but there's a lot of guys that you could give them. You give to Kucherov, Hedman, Vasilevskiy. There's a bunch, but right now probably Brayden Point.
Thanks, Michael. And next, go to one of my idols in the business from the Orange County Register, Mark Wicker. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, Quinn. Where did the bow tie tradition start, and how many do you have?
Yeah, actually, I got that one quite a bit, but I kind of just started when I was a little bit younger. It was really nothing too special. Kind of just, the longer ties kind of bugged me, and I felt a little closed off in the neck, so kind of just wanted to switch it up and just be a little bit different and change it up. So I went with the bow tie, and I probably have a pretty big collection now, probably around over 30 bow ties. So there's a lot there, but my favorite one still is just the regular black. You can go with anything.
Thanks, Mark. Next question comes from Frederick Projean of Radio Canada. Go ahead, Frederick. Frederick, you have to unmute.
Now it's open. Quinton,
Yeah.
I was curious to know what runs through your mind a week and a half prior to the draft. And also your coach, Corey Stillman, has been drafted first overall a few years ago. Have you ever get any conversation about him regarding what's coming up for you in the next days?
Yeah, no. Kind of just sticking to the normal routine. Just working out and skating often, playing some golf. Really, nothing's changed up too much for me. And definitely a lot of excitement. Definitely think about quite a bit. And the day that you've been waiting for all your life basically is finally here, and coming along, as you said, in like a week and a bit. So that's definitely gonna be a special day for me, and I'm really looking forward to that day. And Corey Stillman, me and him definitely talk quite a bit about him. He always lets me know that he was a really high draft pick and played over 1,000 games. So he lets me know probably once or twice a day about that. So but he's a really good guy to learn from and great coach to have.
Thank you, Frederick. Next question comes from Mark Broussard of Le Droit. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Quentin, you're probably sick and tired of doing these Zooms. I'm curious, how did the ones you had with LA and Ottawa go? And do you feel like you have more of a connection with either team?
Yeah, no, I don't mind the Zoom calls, honestly, too much. I can kind of just sit in my room and, hop on and kind of wear whatever. So it's not too bad. Probably a little bit more comfortable and more convenient. So I don't mind too much. But, I had many conversations with both of them. I feel like they both went really well, and, excited for whoever can draft me, and, whichever team selects me, I'll be happy to go to and, call that my home team, and hopefully stay there for as long as I can, make a career there. So I don't know if there's a strong connection. I think they both went really well, and, just excited for the draft.
Thank you, Mark. Next question comes from Nick Kotzanika of NHL.com. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Quentin, two questions. One, in a normal year, you'd actually get to go to the Stanley Cup final and experience it up close. So A, how bummed are you didn't get to do that? And two, you talked about this is going to be a special day, something you've been waiting for your whole life. When the moment comes and you get drafted, you know where you're going, do you think all this disruption will at least mean less and you can look forward now?
Yeah, no, I think so. Definitely been waiting for quite a bit now, and it's probably 4 or 5 months past when the draft was supposed to be. So definitely the waiting, the nerves and excitement's carried on a little bit more, and so I think finally when the day comes, definitely gonna be kind of a big relief and excitement, as I said. So I won't have to be too nervous anymore, and then I also have the day to celebrate and get right back to it, get back into the gym. So it's definitely going to be an exciting moment, and all that will definitely ease off my shoulders, and it's definitely a huge bummer not going to the Stanley Cup Finals and watching the game. As I said, Tampa was my favorite team growing up, but I'm cheering for the Dallas Stars right now. So it definitely would have been exciting and good experience, and I was lucky enough to go to the Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins game last year in the playoffs, and the atmosphere in the building was unreal. So it would definitely have been something special to see.
Thanks, Nick. Next question comes from Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, John. Hey, Quentin. Just kind of looking back at your season, especially in the month of February when you had that wrist injury, just how hard was it for you to go through that month personally, knowing that it was your draft year? And then were you able to learn anything from that experience to help make you better when you're able to get back on the ice?
Yeah, it was definitely really tough time just watching my team, play, just wanting to be out there with them, try and help the team as best I could. And, it was definitely disappointing from that standpoint, but, I wasn't really thinking about the draft too much during the year. I was just trying to play my game and, just let the chips fall how they are. And, just put out my best effort and, just show everyone what I can do and, why I'm a kind of a high rated prospect and, try to do as best as I can. So, it was really just tough just watching my team going out there and playing the games and not being able to, help them get the win. But, yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Let's try again with Richard LeBay of La Presse. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, John, can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you.
All right, perfect. Quentin, thanks for doing this. I want to ask you, there's a lot of talk about comparisons really about you and Kopitar and Malkin. Are these two some of the players that you sort of like try and model your game after?
Yeah, no, honestly, you don't really look too much of people to model my game after, but after drawing some comparisons to those guys and just being able to be recognized like those guys is definitely something special. They're both going to be Hall of Famers and both very successful careers and won Stanley Cup. So it's definitely something special to be compared to those guys. And since getting those comparisons, definitely watch them a little bit more and see what they do and try kind of model a little bit of stuff like them and take some points off of their game and how they carry themselves.
Thanks, Richard. Next question comes from Neil McHale of InsideHockey.com. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Quentin. Somebody who has 2 weddings to go to next month. I appreciate the bow tie tip. But my question for you is, we saw you play in the World Junior and you played a little bit more of a support role in there. How much of a humbling experience was that too? And how much do you think that's prepared you for, in the NHL, when you get a chance to go in there, you have to fight for every inch of the ice and every part of your role that you're going to have with a club?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, a humbling experience for me. And, as I said, I was used to playing, quite a bit of minutes and, a bigger role in previous teams. But, going in there, I didn't really have any expectations. And, I kind of just wanted to be on the team, and I was just happy to be there. So, I think the excitement kind of just, over pushed all that. And, just whatever I could do and, whatever moments I could, the team could use me, I kind of tried to do my best and, just be a good teammate out there. So, that's honestly what I really tried to do. And, I think that definitely prepares you for the NHL and just, how much you have to fight for your spot on the team and, how much it means to people to be playing in the NHL.
Thanks, Neil. We have time for 2 or 3 more. Let's go to Alexis Belanger-Champagne of Radio Canada. Go ahead, Alexis.
Hi, Quinton. You had 3 more months than usual before this draft because of the circumstances, the pandemic. How different do you feel you are now than you would have been in June for this draft? What did you do through those 3 months to improve as a player?
Yeah, I think the mindset going into the summer is kind of just, train, try to put on a little bit more weight and get a little stronger. So, the extra 3 months definitely helped me do that. And, over the course of the summer, gain a little bit of my more weight. And I still have the ability to keep my speed and everything up and, just get stronger this summer and just work on my in the 3 months definitely helped me improve my game quite a bit and get a little bit stronger. And, definitely a couple of months gave me my birthday and a little bit older now too. So it's all good.
Okay, let's go back to Mark Wicker from the Orange County Register. Go ahead, Mark.
Quentin, growing up, I know your dad being from Jamaica, did you kind of learn hockey together with him? How much did he know about the game and how expert is he at the game now after watching you all these years?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's an expert. I still don't know if he knows what's really happening. I think he's just a huge fan of me and, huge fan of hockey and, just really enjoys watching the game. But, I don't know how much he knows. So, but yeah, no, when I was growing up, I just went over to my Oma and Opa's house, when I was younger, and that's where I really started falling in love with the game. Kind of just watch the Leafs play when I was growing up and, just watch it with them. And it was kind of, we all grew up with hockey together as a family. And, those are big moments. And just being able to share that throughout my career and kind of grow up. And they didn't really know the game too much. And so didn't I. So we kind of grew together, but I don't know how much they know about it right now.
Thanks, Mark. Final question comes from Frederick Projon of Radio Canada. Go ahead, Frederick.
Yes, Quinton, one more question. I was wondering, to be drafted is every player's dream, but what would it mean for you to come back to Sudbury for one more season or more after the draft?
Yeah, definitely be nice to come back to Sudbury. I had great billets down there and, a great team. And, But the goal is definitely to play in the NHL next year and, hopefully step in. So I haven't really took too much thought about that one, but, I've just been training a lot off season, and the goal is definitely to play in the NHL next year. But, if I go back to Sudbury, it's definitely give me a little bit more motivation, kind of just to prove myself a little bit more and, hopefully win the OHL and win the Memorial Cup there. So, definitely go back with a lot of motivation and, a lot of encouragement to win. But the main goal is definitely to play in the NHL next year.
Thanks, Frederick. Well, Quentin, thanks so much for taking the time. I think you're making us all jealous with all those medals that are hanging behind you.
Yeah.
But enjoy the next couple of weeks, and we will see you at the draft.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, time to go to a defenseman from Erie of the OHL, Jamie Drysdale. Jamie, thanks for joining us.
Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's get right to the questions, and we'll start with Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Hi, Jamie. 2 questions, if I could, please. How would you describe your interviewing process with the Detroit Red Wings? And secondly, is there a defenseman you grew up kind of wanting to pattern your game after, or one who's in the NHL right now that is kind of somebody who you see as a...
Yeah, I think in regards to the process with Detroit so far, I've had a few calls with them and, with their staff and management, and I think they've gone well. I think the main purpose was to kind of just try and get to know me more as a player, just ask me some questions that they might not gotten to ask me during the year, and things regarding my style and what I think I can do on the ice and kind of what type of person I am off the ice. So, I think it's been a pretty smooth process. I think it's been a good one as well, but, so just kind of waiting to see what happens with that on draft day. And then, in regards to my style and NHL defenseman now, I think, for me, it's pretty hard to look away from the 3 young D and Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes in the NHL right now, who have kind of been putting on a show in these playoffs. And, for Heiskanen, he's still doing so. So I think, just how they control the play, the confidence they have and possess, and the skill that they have, I think is really something, pretty cool. And I hope to kind of follow in their footsteps.
Thanks, Helene. Next question comes from Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, Jamie. Just wanted to expound on the work that BJ Adams does with you, especially on your defensive game. Just what have you two been working on, and where do you feel like you've seen the biggest improvement on the defensive side of your game?
Yeah, well, me and Beej work a lot on my defensive side of the game. I think the main thing that he wants me to do and that he's kind of brought my confidence up is using my skating to my advantage, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. And more specifically, I think in closing gaps in the neutral zone and in the D zone. I think that anytime, a D has the opportunity to close off plays in the neutral zone and shift possessions and the puck, I think that's really good for a team. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just using my feet to gap up, close plays before they get into our end. And, if they do, on the flip side, just closing gaps, giving these high end players as little time as you can to prevent them from making a play that everyone knows they can. So I think that's probably the biggest thing defensively, is just trusting my feet and using it to close gaps and take time and space away from players.
Thank you, Mark. Next question comes from John Warrow of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for taking some time here. I'm taking a bit of a stab in the dark, but there seems to be a lot of top prospects from the Toronto area, which is it's been a while since that's really happened. How familiar are you with guys like Byfield and Cole and Perfetti and those guys? And what do you make of that group that's come out of that region?
Yeah. Well, you're pretty bang on. I grew up playing against and with Cole and Q, and I think that they're obviously incredible players. I think definitely not fun to see on the other side of the ice, but at the same time, I love the challenge when growing up and even to this day when they're on the other side coming down on me. So I think they're definitely both special players, and to have the ability to play against them and with them pretty much since I was 10 years old is something I think pretty cool and a lot of fun to grow up playing with these guys.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from John Mattis of The Score. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jamie, I was hoping to piggyback that last question and ask you about Quentin Byfield. How do you defend a guy like him based on the size, the skill, the smarts, all that? Like, what's the game plan?
Yeah. So for me, I think, when you have a guy like you that can, like you said, just going to repeat that, he's got the size, the speed, the hands, and, pretty much all the tools you need to be a high-end forward. So I think for me, it's just a matter of using my feet and using my brain, I think is the best way I can go about defending a guy like that, giving him as little time and space as I can, having a good stick, closing on him as quick as I can, because the second that guy gets a step on you, I think you're kind of toast. So I think just preventing that from happening, using my feet, using my skating to keep up with him and close the gap so he doesn't have the ability to make the high-end play that he's capable of doing.
Thanks, John. Next question comes from Sylvain Saint-Laurent of Le Droit. Go ahead, Sylvain.
Hi, Jamie. We've seen so many highly skilled young defensemen come through the ranks and become quality NHL players in the last couple of years. It's hard to compare them with each other, but can you give us a few examples of elements in some of those players' games that you're trying to emulate, and who would your models be right now?
Yeah. So, I think that the qualities of the defenseman that I think I kind of watch, the things that I like to look at and see and what I'm kind of put in my game are one, the confidence that these young defensemen have and these defensemen have in their game. I think they know they can make a play, and if they see it, they're gonna try and make it. I think that's big. I think that's kind of the way I want to play. If I want to have the confidence to make a play, if I see it, not kind of refrain from that. So that's one thing, as well as obviously, just being mobile on the ice, having the ability to get up and down the ice. And so you're not a liability on the back end, but you're also can contribute on the offensive side of the game. So I think that those are kind of the two things that I look at in kind of these defensemen these days, the skilled defensemen. And in regards to specific names, I'd say, like I said earlier, Heiskanen, Makar, and Hughes. And then obviously I'm a Toronto boy, so I grew up watching and still do Morgan Riley and how he plays and how he can play both ends of the ice. So that's kind of what I look at and what I look for in these D, and little things that I can take away from their game and put in mine, I think will benefit me for sure.
Thank you, Sylvain. I have time for a couple more. Let's go to Mike Moriali from NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jamie. So you were one of just 7 17-year-old D-men to play for Canada at the World Juniors since '91. What did you take away from that experience with the role you played?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I took a lot away. For me, from day one, once after finding out I made that team, my coach, the D coach, Andre Turdy, kind of told me, he said, "You're here for a reason. Just stick with it." And, I think, an opportunity may come up where you can play more minutes. If not, then, just do everything you can when you get on the ice. He kept saying that he trusted me in my game. And, I think that was big for me. And, I think anytime you have the opportunity to play for a team like that, of that caliber, with those players, and they, on the flip side, against the players that were in that tournament, you got to embrace it and use it as a challenge. I think for me, just when I got the opportunity to go on the ice, it was, just try and do what I can. Don't try to overcomplicate things. Just play my game and have confidence in the plays that I'm making. And I think that, for me, having that opportunity to be put in a good position in the semifinals where I got to play a good amount of minutes, I think was really, really big for me. And I think I just tried to do my best to embrace it and stick to my game, not overcomplicate, but not hold on to the puck too long or things like that. So I think that it was definitely an awesome experience, and I learned a lot. And I think that when it comes to a team like that, then you just have to learn to embrace your role. I think everyone wanted to win, and going into that, I think in order to do that, you have to embrace your role and do everything you can to be the best at it.
Thanks, Michael. Well, Jamie, as a bunch of people already said, young defensemen who can move the puck are the most exciting players in our game right now, and we can't wait to see you join the group. But of course, the draft is first. I hope you have a good time with that in 2 weeks, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Okay. We'll be joined in a little while by Alexis Lafreniere. While we're waiting for Alexei to join us, to make it easier for him, I think we'll do questions in each language in groups. So we'll do English first, and then halfway through we'll switch to French. And to make it easier for us to know who's asking in each language, if you have an English question, keep your hand up right now. If your question's in French, put your hand down and then put it back up when we switch. Thank you. Okay, please join me in welcoming from Rimouski of the QMJHL and Central Scouting's #1 rated North American skater, Alexis Lafreniere. Alexis, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, as I said to the reporters on the call, to make this easier for you, let's do English in a bunch, then we'll do French in a bunch so you don't have to think in both languages back and forth.
Yeah,
So we'll start with English if that's okay with you. And let's start with John Warrow of the Associated Press. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Alexis. I guess, thanks for doing this. And I'm just wondering, how long has this wait been for you, and how eager are you to finally get to the point where we're a couple of weeks from the draft, and your thoughts on the Rangers?
Yeah, it's been pretty long waiting. A couple of months I've been waiting and didn't know what to expect. But yeah, it's coming pretty soon, and for sure the Rangers is a really big organization and really good team, really good young team. So we'll see what happens, but it's a really exciting team for sure.
Thank you, John. Next question comes from Nick Katzanika of NHL.com. Go ahead, Nick.
I know you dreamt of walking across the stage and that didn't get to happen. I'm wondering if there's any silver lining in it. Can you give me as much detail as you can about your plans for draft night, where you'll be, who you'll be with, and what you now imagine that moment will be like?
I'll be at my house with my family, probably a couple of my friends. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID and stuff, so I'll be with my family for sure, and hopefully with some friends so that we can enjoy the night and spend these moments with them.
Thank you, Nick. Next question comes from Mike Morreale of NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Alexis, what have you enjoyed most about the Stanley Cup final so far with regard to the intensity these teams have shown in the bubble? And can you maybe give us a Conn Smythe prediction from each team?
I've enjoyed just watching those teams. I think they're really good. They're playing really fast, and it's really good hockey. And for my Conn Smythe, I would go with Heiskanen for Dallas and Braden Point for Tampa.
Thank you, Michael. Next question comes from Vincent Mercoliano from USA Today Sports. Go ahead, Vincent.
Hey, Alexis. Thanks for doing this. I want to ask a little bit. I've heard about you playing multiple sports when you were younger. I've heard that your family is really into sports. I know your sister is an athlete. So could you just describe the atmosphere? I guess it sounds like it was pretty competitive and very focused on athletics with your family growing up.
Yeah, for sure. All of my family is watching sport and likes a lot sports. So for me, growing up, we did a lot of different sports with me. My sister was playing soccer, so I was playing with her a little bit. And, I think doing different sports, it's always good for you. And when you step on the ice, I think, you're focused to play hockey, but, off the ice, just playing some different sports, it's really good as an athlete.
Thanks, Vincent. Take a couple more in English. Let's go to Alan Krita of the New York Times. Go ahead, Alan.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this, Alexis. Just wanted to ask you, the world's a very unusual place right now, and New York City is an unusual place too, but what does it mean to you in theory to be maybe coming here, and have you been here before, and what are you looking forward to most about New York?
Looking forward for sure. Like I said, good young team. They have a lot of good young players, and it's a really nice place. I think one of the biggest city in the world. So for sure, it's exciting, and we'll see what happens. But I would be really excited for sure.
Thank you, Alan. Now we'll go to Molly Walker from the New York Post. Go ahead, Molly.
Hey, Alexis. Thanks for taking the time. I believe I read that you said Artemi Panarin was one of your favorite NHL players this season. Could you explain why he was your favorite, and what would it mean to you to maybe play alongside him?
I think just the season he had, he was really dynamic offensively. Every game I watched, he was creating chances, and I think he was one of the best players in the league this year. And to be maybe having the chance to play with him, it would be an honor, and it would be for sure really special for me. And I would for sure try to learn as much as I can from him.
Thank you, Molly. We'll take one more question in English. So if you have questions in French, please hit raise hand now. And let's go to Mike Moriali of NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Alexis, how do you view the role as captain? And were you able to receive any advice from Sid on that topic when you had the opportunity to talk with him?
We didn't talk that much about that. He much more talked to us in like as a team, and he came in the room after. We just talked about his time in Rimouski, and for sure, I see the role of a captain as a guy really important in the dressing room, a guy that is going to be there for everybody in the room, and that's going to help the team going in the right direction. So for sure, a captain is important in every team.
Merci Alexis. On va commencer à prendre des questions en français maintenant. On va commencer avec Stéphane Leroux, RDS.
Salut Alexis, merci de prendre le temps de jaser avec nous. Dans l'histoire récente, les Rangers n'ont pas beaucoup repêché au Québec. Écoute, ça remonte à loin la dernière fois que c'est arrivé. D'avoir la possibilité là, d'un Québécois de s'en aller à New York, la grosse ville, d'être peut-être le joueur reconnu de cette équipe-là. Comment est-ce qu'on se sent? Là? On a digéré ça depuis la loterie, là, puis on se dit que c'est vers ça qu'on s'en va, même si tu ne nous confirmeras pas que c'est officiel aujourd'hui.
Ouais, c'est sûr que c'est excitant. C'est vraiment une équipe reconnue, une équipe qui a beaucoup d'histoire, puis c'est une très bonne équipe. Fait que c'est sûr que si c'est pour être les Rangers, ce serait vraiment un très grand honneur pour moi. Puis juste la ville, l'équipe, c'est vraiment un beau mix. Puis c'est sûr que, comme tu as dit, rien de confirmé, mais ce serait quelque chose de très spécial pour moi.
On va prendre la prochaine question. Guillaume Lepage, lnh.com.
Salut Alexis, merci de prendre le temps. La dernière fois qu'on a parlé, les Rangers, tu n'avais pas encore rencontré. Est-ce que tu peux nous dire un peu comment ça s'est déroulé? Est-ce que qui était présent dans la conférence? Et puis, est-ce que tu as eu plus d'une rencontre avec eux? Est-ce que ta famille est impliquée? Tout ça. Comment tu peux nous résumer ces rencontres-là?
Ouais, j'ai eu une rencontre avec eux sur Zoom, puis il y avait pas mal toute l'organisation. Là. Il y avait le directeur général, les entraîneurs, puis des membres de l'organisation. Fait que c'est sûr que ça a été spécial pour moi de pouvoir leur parler. Puis le lendemain du draft, quand un peu ça avait la tension s'était calmée un peu, je pense que je peux dire ça comme ça. Puis ça a été le fun juste de pouvoir leur parler puis discuter avec eux. Puis je les ai rencontrés une fois. Puis ça a été vraiment le fun. Puis ils m'ont laissé vraiment une bonne impression.
Nicolas Landry, RDS.
Salut Alexis. Il n'y a personne qui a été surpris quand tes agents ont annoncé que tu ne te présenterais pas à Rimouski cet automne. D'un côté business, ça faisait bien du sens, mais tout le monde qui te connaît nous dit à quel point tu es maniaque de hockey, tu es un mordu, à quel point la compétition te manque présentement, puis qu'est-ce que tu fais pour rester sain d'esprit dans ces temps un peu particuliers?
C'est sûr que ça me manque. Comme tu as dit, je suis un gars qui aime vraiment jouer des matchs puis vraiment compétitionner, mais ici, je m'entraîne beaucoup, puis on est sur la glace aussi, puis on fait beaucoup de matchs aussi avec le gym. Là, on est une couple de quand même assez de joueurs, puis on fait des matchs quelques fois semaine, puis on fait des pratiques, des gyms. Fait que c'est sûr que de ce niveau-là, je me tiens vraiment occupé, puis je pense que je continue vraiment de m'améliorer en tant que joueur, puis c'est vraiment ça le plan pour moi. Là.
Kevin Dubé, Journal de Québec.
Oui, salut Alexis. Je ne sais pas si tu peux un peu revenir sur, je sais que tu en as parlé en anglais, là, mais sur la façon dont tu comptes vivre ce repêchage-là. Puis, la première ronde, c'est toujours un show, c'est le stage, c'est de mettre le chandail. C'est-tu un peu quand même une déception pour toi de ne pas pouvoir vivre cette expérience-là?
C'est un peu une déception, c'est sûr. Là. Je mentirais de dire que c'est pas une déception, mais je pense que je vais pouvoir profiter du moment aussi, puis ça va pouvoir être quand même plaisant. Là. Je vais être, on ne sait pas vraiment avec le confinement, puis avec la situation du COVID, mais je vais être avec ma famille, c'est sûr, puis je vais inviter probablement quelques amis, tout dépendant de combien de personnes on peut être. Puis, c'est sûr, on va avoir du fun, je pense, on va en profiter, c'est sûr. Puis, c'est un moment qui passe une fois dans une vie, fait qu'il faut quand même faut en profiter avec les gens, avec nos proches. Là.
Martin McGuire, 98.5.
Bonjour Alexis. Tu as parlé de tes rencontres avec les Rangers et tout ça, puis que ça s'est fait quand la poussière a retombé. Moi, je suis curieux de savoir si aujourd'hui, le 24 septembre, tu commences à lier une espèce de lien affectif avec cette équipe-là. Est-ce que tu sens un petit peu, tu commences à avoir un sentiment d'appartenance avec les Rangers?
Pas encore, je te dirais. C'est pas encore fait, il n'y a rien de confirmé. Puis, pour moi, tant que je ne vais pas savoir dans quelle équipe je vais m'en aller, ben, il n'y aura pas vraiment de lien qui va se créer. Puis, le repêchage est dans pas longtemps, dans quelques jours, une semaine et quelques jours. Fait que, pour moi, c'est juste d'essayer d'attendre ce moment-là. Puis, quand ça va arriver, ben, c'est sûr que l'équipe qui va me repêcher, il va se créer un lien.
Et on va retourner avec Stéphane Leroux, RDS.
Alexis, je sais que c'est pas, il n'y a rien de clair en ce moment, mais si jamais la Ligue nationale retarde janvier ou de quoi de même, l'idée de retourner au championnat du monde junior, est-ce que c'est quelque chose que tu as parlé? Est-ce que c'est quelque chose qui est possible? Non, ça va dépendre vraiment de l'équipe qui va te repêcher, mais s'il n'en tenait qu'à toi, jouer un tournoi comme ça, avoir la chance d'y retourner, on ne comptait pas sur toi cette année. On pensait que tu serais dans la Ligue nationale, mais à cause que tout est différent là, en 2020, est-ce que c'est quelque chose de possible?
Ben, c'est sûr que c'est une option possible, mais comme tu as dit, avec l'équipe qui va me repêcher, on va en parler avec mon groupe d'agence aussi. Puis ça va être une décision qu'on va prendre éventuellement. Puis on va voir ce qui va arriver, mais c'est sûr que ça reste une option. Là.
On va prendre un autre 2 questions pour finir avec Alexis. Guillaume Lepage, lnh.com.
Oui, Alexis, tu as eu. Oui, Alexis, tu m'entends?
Oui.
Good. Tu as probablement eu le temps d'analyser la formation des Rangers là, depuis que la loterie s'est faite. Il y a beaucoup de profondeur à l'aile gauche. Je te parlais d'une jeune équipe aussi. On voit un gars comme Artemi Panarin, le fait qu'il soit là comme joueur de premier plan, est-ce que ça t'enlève un peu de pression sur les épaules de te présenter dans une équipe qui ne compte pas nécessairement juste sur toi là, de ta première saison?
Ben, je pense que c'est sûr. Puis c'est le fun en tant que joueur d'arriver et de pouvoir prendre des bons joueurs comme ça. Comme j'ai dit, c'est un des meilleurs joueurs de la Ligue. Puis si j'ai la chance de pouvoir jouer avec lui, ben, juste de pouvoir apprendre de lui quotidiennement, juste de pouvoir le voir pratiquer dans les games aussi. Puis hors de la glace aussi, juste de pouvoir voir comment il se comporte. Puis de pouvoir prendre des conseils de lui aussi.
Et dernière question, Nicolas Landry, RDS.
Oui, Alexis, je voudrais juste rebondir sur ta réponse de tantôt sur ta routine d'entraînement. Je sais que Stéphane Dubé m'a déjà raconté qu'un été, il t'avait proposé d'intégrer son groupe de pros à Boisbriand, puis tu avais décidé de rester avec tes chums à place de continuer de t'entraîner avec les gars de ton âge. Je me demandais pour cet été, as-tu changé des trucs dans ta façon de t'entraîner, à l'endroit que tu t'entraînes? As-tu justement accepté sa proposition de changer de gang? N'importe quoi que tu as peut-être changé dans tes façons de faire?
Ben, cet été, je me suis encore entraîné avec la même gang que d'habitude, mais là, c'est sûr que la majorité sont partis à leur équipe junior, fait que je suis rendu avec plus des pros, puis c'est le fun de pouvoir être avec eux, de pouvoir apprendre sur la glace, à l'extérieur de la glace, juste de pouvoir être avec eux, les côtoyer, puis de pouvoir continuer de s'améliorer en tant que joueur.
Alexis, merci beaucoup. Alexis, thank you. Good luck leading up to the draft. We'll be joined shortly by Jake Sanderson.
Okay, and for our last but not least, joining us from the U.S. Under-18 National Team Development Program, defenseman Jake Sanderson. Jake, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Let's get right to the questions and start with Dave Stubbs from NHL.com. Go ahead, David.
Jake, we've seen some big-time performances on the blue line during the Stanley Cup playoffs, as we always do. Is there anyone defenseman who you're really studying in the final or studied in the earlier rounds, and what qualities would you want to absorb from him?
Yeah, I've been really watching Miro Heiskanen. He's somebody who I like to play like, just the way he skates, how mature he is, and he's just so efficient how he plays the game, and he's a very mature player for his age, even though he's one of the younger players in the league. He just plays very smart, and then also John Klingberg, I think he's, he kind of dances at the blue line, faking shots. That's something I try to do.
Jay, can you hear us? Oh,
Yeah, sorry, did I cut out?
You're back. No, you're back. You're back. Okay, let's go to Ashley Sarge from Sirius XM. Go ahead, Ashley.
Jeff, how much has your father been an influence in you, and how much has he told you what to see ahead as far as being drafted and as far as going to a NHL camp, and how much has it changed between when your father played to today?
Yeah, my dad's been awesome. He's been here every step of the way throughout my life, just helping me with my hockey career, and he kind of introduced me to the game, so it's great having him. He just kind of tells me to enjoy the moment. It only happens once in your life, and he says drafting or getting drafted is kind of the easier part, but what comes after that is, the most important part and what you do with it.
Thank you, Ashley. Next question comes from Mike Moriali of NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jake, what do you feel are your greatest attributes in the game? And, how would you sell yourself to an NHL GM?
Yeah, I describe myself as a two-way defenseman. Somebody you could put in all situations on the ice, whether it's penalty kill or power play. I think I'm somebody that thrives in those situations, and I think I'm a unique player just because I can play that hard-nosed style defensive game, but also use my skating and use my skill and my hockey sense up the ice as well.
Thanks, Michael. Next question comes from John Warrow of the AP. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Jake. Yeah, John Morrow with the AP. I'm out of Buffalo, actually. So, but how do you explain? Your dad grew up in Hay River, or is from Hay River, and you were born in Whitefish, Montana. Was that like a big summer home for you guys? And how did you develop from there?
Yeah, we've had our place in Whitefish for 20 plus years, and I was born there, and so was my older brother, Ben. So we kind of just grew up there when we were younger, and we kind of always go back there in the summer. It's just a little hideaway spot on the lake, go out on the lake and fish. And, it's a beautiful place. We go golfing a lot and get out on the water, like I said. And, yeah, it's just a beautiful place and really down to earth.
Thanks, John. Next question comes from Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, John. Yeah, just a couple-part question here. How many teams have you interviewed with, would you say? Did you talk to the Blue Jackets? And if so, did they ask about your dad being a former Blue Jacket? And then what was the biggest priority of your offseason that you need to improve on?
Yeah, I talked to the Blue Jackets. I actually did an interview with one of their media guys, I'm pretty sure, and he knew my dad pretty well. So it was kind of like a small world just because my dad knew him when he played there, and he finally got to interview me as I kind of growing up in the game. And when their season got canceled, I kind of been working on my strength, and I'm working on my skating as well. And something I've been kind of working on a lot is my one-timer, just because I feel as a defenseman, having a bomb of a one-timer and just keeping it consistent and having good aim with it is a really good asset as a defenseman.
Thanks, Mark. Next question comes from Ansar Khan of MLive.com. Go ahead, Ansar.
Yeah, hi, Jake. Just wondering, in your interviews with the Red Wings, with Steve Yzerman and Chris Draper, what stands out to you the most from those talks? And do you have any connections to the Red Wings organizations, any of the prospects that you know well?
A lot of the interviews are kind of similar. Just when they first interview, they kind of just get to know you.
video chats and just see what kind of character you have and where you come from as a family, and probably connection with the organization. I mean, the only one I would think of is Cooper Moore. He's on our North Dakota team, and he was a 5th-round draft pick to them last year, I'm pretty sure. And Cooper's also a freshman as well, so I hang out with him a lot too.
Thanks, Ansar. Next question comes from Neil McHale of InsideHockey.com. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Jake, you've had a lot of time to think about this here. I'm wondering, how often you've thought about some of the teams that are picking in that, top half of the draft, and imagine what it'd be like playing in their sweater, or how much your families talk to you about it. How much that process been, by now you'd probably know, what team you were picked and what your shots were of making the team as well with training camp and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a journey throughout my whole life. When you kind of start hockey as it for fun, but as you get better and better and older, it kind of becomes a job, and that's something my dad kind of emphasized to me this year. Is, I mean, yeah, it's still fun, but it's also kind of turning into my job, and just to be drafted by a team. Obviously, I'm not sure what team it is yet. I'll be very grateful and very excited that that team wants me.
Thanks, Neil. Let's go to Justin Bradford from Penalty Box Radio. Go ahead, Justin.
Hi, Jake. So a lot of the rankings have you right around the spot where you might be taken by Nashville. And obviously Nashville's developed a lot of good defensemen over the years. So if you were to say be drafted by Nashville, what would that be for you, just to know you'd be going to a place that has developed a lot of great defensemen?
Yeah, being drafted by Nashville would be unreal. Obviously, seeing Roman Josi just won the Norris, so that's pretty cool. And he's somebody I kind of like to watch as well and try to implement some of his style of game into mine. And I mean, if I was drafted there, I'd definitely, see what Roman does. And, he seems like a very good captain and a very good professional, so that'd be super cool.
Okay. Thank you, Justin. Next question comes from Helene St. James of the Detroit Free Press. Go ahead, Helene.
Hi, Jake. You've been waiting 3 more months than normally for this day. Can you just describe what it's like now that the draft night is finally in sight? And secondly, just wondering, with the Zoom calls with all the teams, were you nervous the first few times? How weird was it just to get the hang of it? I mean, instead of going into a hotel room and at the combine.
Yeah, I mean, when the draft was pushed back, everybody thought it was going to be in June, and when it was pushed back to a couple months, that was kind of frustrating, just because it's something you kind of look forward to all year. And even going to the draft, that was going to be in Montreal, just being there with my teammates, that would have been super cool. But obviously, we're not allowed to do that this year. But I mean, being drafted, it'll be the same either way. It'll be very exciting. And the Zoom question, I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking the first couple ones, but you kind of get more comfortable with yourself and kind of know what kind of questions they're going to ask you, and you kind of build a relationship with the organization, which is pretty cool.
Thank you, Helene. Next question comes from Amanda Stein of Devils.com. Go ahead, Amanda.
Hey, Jake, I was just wondering, I mean, you were talking a little bit about it before, but in terms of things going virtually right now, what's your plan in terms of where you're going to be, how you kind of want to celebrate the situation? And also another part to the question is have you met with New Jersey, and how did you feel that went, and what was the sort of impression that you got?
Yeah, so I'm planning on having the draft at the rink here in North Dakota, and hopefully my mom and dad and my older brother, I think, give them and enjoy the moment. I've interviewed with New Jersey twice now, and personally, I think they've been pretty well, but from their side, I'm not really sure, so I guess we'll just see and wait.
Thanks, Amanda. Let's go back to Mike Moriali from NHL.com. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Jake. First off, I think you broke up a little bit on that last answer on who is going to join you when you watch the draft. But also, my question was, how big a role did the U.S. National Team Development Program play in helping you become the player you are?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry I broke up there. Not great service here where I am. But I'm planning on having or being with the draft with my mom, my dad, and my older brother. And the NTDP, I loved it. I love my 2 years there. It's definitely a grind, and I don't think any other team, goes what we through with our schedule. our international travel and just start training there in Michigan. But I mean, it kind of developed me as a person, and with the professionals there, like the coaches, and obviously being there with the best 21 players at your age group in the country is really special.
Thank you, Michael. We'll take two more. Let's go back to Ansar Khan. Go ahead, Ansar.
No, sorry, my question was already answered.
No worries. Okay, well, let's clean it up with the great Dave Stubbs. Go ahead, David.
Well, I don't know how great this is going to be, but Jake, you were 5 when your dad retired. How much do you know about his career? Do you believe half the stories he tells you? And will there be any family bragging rights about where you might be drafted compared to him?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot when he was playing, but I remember living in certain places when I was younger, like St. Albert, just because I have family up there. And I remember living in Phoenix and Columbus as well. And the one thing I remember about him in his playing career is just he was a great skater, very talented on the offensive side of the game, and just, great goal scorer. And I don't know, if I'm drafted ahead of my dad when he was, maybe I'll give it to him a little bit. But I have too much to think of him, and he's been there every single step of my way. So.
Thank you, David. And thank you, Jake, for taking the time. Good luck in a couple of weeks. Enjoy it best you can. Thanks again for taking the time tonight.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.